time is 12 o'clock. Here is the midday news. First, the top stories. Ogun set up committee to reach the state of teenage prostitutes. Buhari APC state governors meet in London. Methodist prelate predicts Biafra agitation will die in 2019. 14 burns to death in a ghastly auto crash in Ile-Ife. In foreign, 30 killed, 42 injured in car bomb attack in Kabul, the Afghan capital. And Polish president vetoes law replacing Supreme Court judges. Good afternoon, I am Chienye Egwuonwu, bringing you the news in detail shortly. Ogun State government has constituted a committee to check the increasing rate of underage prostitution in the state. The 8-member committee was jointly set up by the State Ministry of Youth and Sports and its Women Affairs and Social Development, Youth and Sports Commissioner Mr. Afolabi Afuakwe, and its Women Affairs and Social Development counterpart Mrs. Abiola Kufile, inaugurated the committee at the MKO Abiola International Stadium, Kuto, Abeokuta. Kufile describes the trend of teenage prostitution in the state as a shame to womanhood. The committee is given the task of sensitizing, arresting and rehabilitating underage prostitutes in the state. The committee, according to the commissioners, will organize the sensitization campaign across the state's 4 districts before embarking on the arrest of the underage prostitutes. A man, Joshua Oyakwidon, had appeared before an Abeokuta magistrate court in the Ogun State capital for allegedly stabbing his son, Favor Oyakwidon, with knife at Kobakwe near the Ogun State capital. The plea by the 30-year-old accused person could not be taken on a 2-count charge leveled against him. The prosecutor, Inspector Sunday Ebejale, told the court that the accused last July 15, opposite the proposed President Muhammadu Buhari state, Kobakwe, on Abeokuta Chienye Expressway, attempted to kill his son and inflicted grievous wound by stabbing him on his neck and stomach. The magistrate, Mrs. Adiola Adilaja, ordered that the case file be duplicated and forwarded to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution for advice. The magistrate ordered the accused to be remanded in the Oba prison in Abeokuta while adjourning the case till September 1 for mention. President Muhammadu Buhari has met with the APC state governors in London, where he is on a medical vacation. The president, according to his media aide, Femi Adesina, hosted the APC governors delegation to a lunch, which lasted an hour. Those in the delegation include Governors Rocha Sokorocha of Imo, Nasir El-Rufai Kaduna, Yahya Bello Kogi, Tanko Al-Makura from Nasarawa, and the Transportation Minister, Rotimi Amechi, as well as APC National Chairman, Chief John Odige Oyegun. Okorocha, who spoke after the brief meeting, says Buhari is very cheerful and still retains his sense of humor, having that from the discussion, Buhari is abreast of the developments in Nigeria. For instance, Adesina says that Buhari asked Amechi on the extent of work done on the implementation of the ongoing rail projects while laughing at the negative reports about his health condition. Buhari departed Abuja for the medical vacation in London last May 7. Armed police operatives have arrested 3 Boko Haram fighters in a gun battle during a raid on the hideout in the Kano metropolis. 3 members of the police team sustained injuries during the raid. The raid, carried out by the Police Special Task Force on the hideout at Gaya Quarters in Ngogo local government area on Sunday, followed an intelligence received by the police. The State Police Commissioner, Rabi Yusuf, addressing newsmen in Kano, says that one of the terrorists who escaped during the gun battle is a dismissed officer of the Nigeria Air Force. Items captured from the hideout include an AK-47 rifle, an improvised explosive device, 2 sets of Air Force uniforms, a military boot, an iPad, and 49 rounds of ammunition. Also, troops have killed 3 female suicide bombers in Gonduga in Borno State. The bombers were killed while attempting to gain access into the base of 103 Battalion of the Army 7th Division in the area. Army spokesman Brigadier General Sani Usman, in a statement, says troops intercepted the bombers as they moved to the army base. Usman, however, explains that the bombers defied the order and moved towards the troops, who opened fire on them. Meanwhile, 9 fighters of Boko Haram sect have surrendered to troops in Buninyadi in Yobe State. Usman says the repentant terrorists, who belong to the Mama Nur faction of the sect, claimed to have escaped from a hideout of Boko Haram at Buk village in Damboa local government area of Borno State. The prelate of Methodist Church, Samuel Uche, has predicted that the agitation for Biafra will die in 2019. He accuses politicians of sponsoring the agitations to acquire political powers. The Methodist prelate spoke on the issue at the Thanksgiving service organized for the managing director of the Niger Delta Development Commission in Sima Ekere at Ibekwe in Akwa Ibom State. He cursed politicians who are sponsoring people to kill others just to enter political offices, that they will not enjoy the political office. The Methodist prelate also called for the introduction of true federalism, saying that what is still keeping Nigeria united is the crude oil revenue. Federal Road Safety Corps (FRSC) has confirmed that 14 passengers were burnt to death in a ghastly auto crash at Ile-Ife on Sunday. The auto crash involved the passenger bus, which rammed into a tanker loaded with diesel near Mayflower Junction in the town. Eyewitnesses saying that the bus marked MUS 702XH, which was heading from Ore in Ondo State towards Ibadan, lost control and rammed into the tanker. The bus immediately caught fire and trapped its passengers inside. Osun State's FRSC Sector Commander Anthony Boko says the driver of the tanker escaped after the accident. According to the sector commander, 2 of the 16 passengers in the bus were rescued alive from the burnt bush. You're still listening to the Midday News on Rock City 101.9 FM. Up next, we bring you foreign, business and sports news. Please do stay with us. Now in foreign, a suicide car bomb has exploded in the Afghan capital, Kabul, killing at least 30 people. At least 42 people were injured in the blast, and there are fears the number of casualties could rise. The blast in the west of the city, in a mainly shared district, struck a bus carrying government employees from the Ministry of Mines, officials said. The Taliban said they had carried out the attack and were targeting intelligence service officials. There have been several recent attacks in the district, including one that killed senior Shia cleric Ramazan Hussainzadeh last month. According to the United Nations, the country has seen at least 1,662 civilian deaths in the first half of the year, with around 20% of those in the capital. On 31st May, a huge bombing in central Kabul killed more than 150 people, the deadliest militant attack in the country since US-led forces ousted the Taliban from power in 2001. Last month, at least 34 people were killed and 58 injured when a car bomb was detonated outside a bank in the southern province of Helmand. An Israeli guard has shot dead a Jordanian who attacked him with a screwdriver next to the Israeli embassy in Jordan, Israeli officials say. A second Jordanian was inadvertently killed in the gunfight. The guard was reportedly wounded. The attacker was a carpenter working in a residential building used by the embassy, an Israeli statement said. It's one of the most serious incidents between the two countries since they signed a peace treaty in 1994. On Friday, thousands of Jordanians protested in Amman against Israel over the installation of metal detectors outside a site sacred to both Muslims and Jews in East Jerusalem. Polish President Andrzej Duda has announced he is vetoing a controversial law to replace Supreme Court judges with government nominees. 3 key judicial reforms have been passed by Poland's parliament, prompting days of demonstrations across the country. Before they became law, they required approval by the president. The changes have also set Poland's right-wing government on a collision course with the European Union. Next is the business news. Northwest state governors have signed a memorandum of understanding on integration and cooperation to develop the region's agriculture potentials to reduce its dependence on oil revenue. The meeting, which took place in Katsina, was attended by 7 state governors in the region. Governor Aminu Mezari, who addressed newsmen after the meeting, says the region has comparative advantage in agriculture more than any of the country's 6 geopolitical zones. During the meeting, Mezari says that MTN made presentation on animal identification management solution, which was to reduce the incidence of cattle rustling with the application of a tracking device. The Iowa Research and Development Project the governor adds is the main consultant driving the process. Finally, in the midday news is the sports news. Rivers United banished memories of the midweek home defeat to Sunshine Stars with a comfortable 3-1 win over Wiki Tourists in the Nigeria Professional Football League (NPFL). Goals from Guy Kiman, Emeka Obu, and a penalty from Ali Chimendu rendered Abubakar Lawal's strike for the visitors as mere consolation. The goal ensured the hosts take a 2-0 lead into the break. In the second half, Abubakar Lawal reduced the deficit with a toe-poke effort. Minutes after the game continued, Rivers United won a penalty and Ali Chimendu slotted past the substitute keeper Sani Haliru in the 59th minute. Obu's jinking run and cross from the left field to find Lukman lurking in the box. No Nigerian Professional Football League club have been listed in the top 30 of Africa's digital media benchmark, which was released by German-based Result Sports this month. The digital media benchmark reviewed each club's digital community, covering Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Google+, and Periscope. Nigeria's best-ranked club in the African Digital Football Benchmark is Enyimba. They are listed in the 31st place. The Aba Club is the only Nigerian club in Africa's top 50 digital media benchmark for the continent. Egyptian giants Al Ali topped the digital benchmark for Africa with more than 16 million followers in the digital community that includes Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google+, and YouTube. The Egyptian club are also listed among the top 20 clubs in the global digital media ranking. Africa's top 10 clubs include Al Ali, Zamalek SC, Raja Casablanca, Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates, Club Africain, Wydad, Al Masry, Etoile Sportive du Sahel, and Mamelodi Sundowns. That was the midday news, and just before we go, the major stories once again. Ogun set up committee to rid the state of teenage prostitutes. Buhari APC state governors met in London. Methodist prelate predicted Biafra agitation will die in 2019. 14 burned to death in a ghastly auto crash in Ile-Ife. In foreign, we also told you that 30 killed, 42 injured in car bomb attack in Kabul, the Afghan capital. And Polish president vetoed law replacing Supreme Court judges. For more stories and to listen to us live, please log on to our website www.rockcityfmradio.com/live. Thank you very much for listening. I am Chienye. Good afternoon.